So in this video, we're going to continue looking at the measures of average, so the mode, median and mean, and then the measures of spread like range. We're going to look at them through some more difficult questions. So this example here, so we have a stem and leaf plot, and you remember from the stem and leaf plot, the key down here is really important. It tells us how to read the graph. So the key here is 4-1, which is 41 years. So that would mean for any of the numbers, so if I was to go down to the very last one, that this one here is 6, 6, that would be 66 years. And the graph is describing the ages of a group of people entering a shopping centre. So the first one says how many people were aged 43, so part A. And all we need to do there is go to the graph, go to 4 and see how many people are 43. So there's 1, 2. So there's 2 people on this graph that are 43, so that's our first answer. How many people were surveyed? So again, I'm just going to count them off the graph. So you can just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to the bottom, and you should get that there was 31 people surveyed. The mode, so you remember then that the mode is the most reoccurring, or the number that we see most often. So again, you can just look at the graph and see it visually. So if you look, I can start here saying, okay, well, there's 2 41s, there's 2 31s, but if you go up to 25, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Now just be careful, the mode isn't 4, the mode is 25. Okay, now part D, the median of the data. So the median of the data is the middle number. So usually what we would do is we would write all the values out from smallest to biggest, and we can cross them off and work our way in toward the middle. That's a little bit more difficult when it's a stem and leaf. Now again, you can use the old method, and you could just start writing out the numbers 22, 25, 25, write them out in one big line and start crossing them off. But what I find a little bit easier is to look at how many terms or how many people were surveyed. So in total, there were 31 people surveyed. I want to find the exact middle point of that, so I want to find halfway through that. So I'm going to divide by 2, my half. 31 divided by 2 gives me 15.5. Now, what that means is I'm going to round that up. So because it's an odd, this is another important thing, because it's odd, the number of people that they surveyed, I take this 15.5 and I round it to the next nearest whole number, so that's 16. So I'm going to go to the 16th person who they surveyed, and that there is going to be my median. So rather than writing out in a big list and having to figure out what the median is, we can just divide the total number of people they surveyed by 2, round that to the next nearest person, and that's the median. So if I count in, then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So the median is 37. Okay, and then the last one, E, what percentage of the shoppers were older than 49? So again, I'm going to count up how many people were older than 49. So there's no one 49, so 50 starting here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my sum is going to look like 7 people older than 49 divided by the total number of people who were surveyed, which is 31. And then to convert anything to a percentage, it's going to be multiplied by 100 over 1. And my answer, 2%. Okay, so example 2. Marie's mark in 6 subjects were the following, so 50, 63, 57, 74, 82, and 91, and they ask us to find Marie's mean mark. So again, to find the mean, you're going to take all of Marie's marks, add them together, and divide by the number of marks, by the number of subjects that she took tests in. So it's going to be 50 plus 63 plus 57 plus 74 plus 82 plus 91. In total, she took 6 subjects, so I'm going to divide by 6, making her mean mark 69.5. And again, you can use the calculator for that. So part B. Marie studied an extra 7 subject on her own. Her mark in that subject was 85. So calculate Marie's mean mark if the 7 subject is included in the data. So now Marie has a new subject and we need to add that in. Now, there's 2 ways we could do this. I could go back to the beginning and I could add up all of these numbers again, plus another 85 for the extra test. And I'd have to remember to divide by 7. But from your calculator, you'll have already done this step. So I'm just going to do it that way. So if I add together the original 6 subjects that she did, That was 417 marks, plus another 85 for the new subject. And now we're dividing by 7 because she took 7 subjects this time. So that's going to give me 502 divided by 7, which is going to give her a new mean mark of 71.7. But again, if you just want to go back and add up all 8 numbers again and divide by 7, that's fine. So part C. Marie hopes to increase her mark in all 7 subjects by 5 marks. What is her new expected mean mark? So she hopes in every single subject that she gets an extra 5 marks. So the first way that I could do this, I could just add 5 onto every score. So instead of 50, she would get 55. Instead of 63, she would get 68. Instead of 57, 72. Sorry, 62 even. She would get 62. Instead of 74, 79. Instead of 82, 87. Instead of 91, 96. And then instead of 80 in the 7th one, or 85, she would get 90. And we divide that by 7, and that would give her mean mark. Or another way, from part B, I know originally that her score was 502. That was her original score. And I know that I'm going to divide by 7 because she took 7 subjects. She hopes to get the same increase in every single subject. So she hopes to get 5 marks more in every single subject. So I could just say I'm going to add on the 5 extra marks she gets in all 7 subjects. So 5 times 7. And it doesn't matter which way you do it then. You're going to come out with 537 divided by 7. And then that's her new mean mark. And you can divide that in and get the decimal if you want. Okay, in example 3, so again we have a stem and leaf and we're asked to find the range and the mode, the median and the mean. If you want to pause the video and have a go on your own because it's similar to the last question, and then I'm going to go through the answer. So 20 people attend a fancy dress party and their ages are shown in the following stem and leaf plot. So with this one, it's really important that you understand all the different key terms. So we have to know which one is range, which one is mode. So range is the difference between the biggest value on the graph and the smallest value. So the biggest value here is going to be 62 years. So it's going to be 62. Take away the smallest value, which is 11. Just be careful not to say that it's 16. Sometimes people tend to read from the end of the graph. The biggest one is this one here, 62, and the smallest is 11 years. So then it's just going to be 62, take away 11, and we get 51 for the range. B is the mode. So the mode is the one that we see occurring most often. So whatever number is most frequent. So again, you're just looking at the graph. And looking at the graph here, I can see that 2, 5, so 25 occurs twice. No other number occurs twice as far as I can see. So the mode is going to be 25. Again, if for example, so say if I was to add on an 8 here, okay? So now there's 2 38s. That's fine. The new mode would just be 25, 38. So like I said in the previous video, there doesn't have to be one mode. There can be several modes, or there could be no mode. C is the median. So again, the median is the middle mark. So we could just write it out, the smallest number to the biggest number, and cross them off. But with these stem and leaves, that's a little bit more tricky and there's more room to make a mistake. So what I first of all look at is, was there an even amount of people surveyed or an odd amount of people? So it says there's 20 people surveyed, so there's an even amount. You might remember from the mode video when I had a set of say like this, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 values in that set. When I wanted to find the median, I kind of had a problem because when I started crossing them off, I found, oh look, there's actually 2 values left in the middle. So what I had to do was I needed to find the average of those 2 values. So I would add them and divide by 2, and it would be the value that lay in the middle. So for that one there, it's 2.5. So when it's an even number of people surveyed, or when it's an even number of elements in the data set, there should be 2 values in the median that we then find the average of. So for this one, I'm going to do the same as the previous one. I'm going to say it's 20, and I'm going to divide by 2. So that means I go out to the 10th value. So I'm going to just write this A here, sorry. What about this A here? So I'll start crossing those. I'm going to go to the 10th value. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 33 is the 10th. But because it's an even number, I need to take the 10th and the one after it, the 11th. So that means that to find the median, I'm going to take 33 plus 38 and divide by 2. So making the median 35.5. So again, it's just important to know how many people are being surveyed. Is it even or is it odd? If an even number of people are being surveyed, that means, like I said here, you go out to the 10th, you go out to the 10th term, and then you take the term after that as well. So the 10th term was 33, the 11th was 38. I add them and I divide by 2. So then D is the mean. And to find the mean, you're just going to add up all the values in this graph here, make sure that you have 20, and then you divide that answer by 20. So if I add all them together, I get 735 divided by 20, so making the mean 36.75.